This is Whiteboard Theology. Welcome to the class, How to Study the Bible. Session 8, Wisdom. Nobody ever said, I want to be a fool when I grow up. Everyone wants to be wise, right? Well, at least we say we do. Unfortunately, there are some of us who grow up to be, fools. In the ancient world, wisdom was a big deal. There was a whole literary genre devoted to it, called, you guessed it, wisdom. When we think of wisdom, we mostly think of the book of Proverbs. Proverbs is usually attributed to King Solomon, the wisest king in Israel. He likely didn't pen every word, however, but much of it was written during his reign and probably in his honor. Outside of Proverbs, Job, Ecclesiastes, and the Song of Solomon are considered books in the wisdom genre. Now, what is wisdom? It's not about having a verbal tool belt of Yoda-like sayings. Wisdom is the combination of knowledge, awareness, and character that allows us to live productively in God's world. Wisdom literature is characterized by the call to think hard and humbly about God, life, purpose, and meaning by appealing to common sense, helping us observe what's going on around us, and forcing us to consider tough questions, even disturbing ones. In short, the wisdom writers sought to apply Israel's faith to every facet of everyday life. Now let's summarize the 4 wisdom books. Proverbs makes us think hard about the world and how it works. It provokes us with sayings and riddles and paradoxes and symbolism. Proverbs doesn't give us individual directions for living, but it takes us on a journey to learn how to become wise people. Wisdom leads to joy and obedience. Folly leads to sin and destruction. Proverbs helps us to understand this and navigate life in a broken world. The book of Job is about wisdom in suffering. Unwarranted suffering often comes to righteous people, and it seems irrational. It even seems like a violation. But Job reveals we can't just say, well, if you obey God, life will work out perfectly. That's just not how life in a broken world works. In Job, we learn that God's presence, not answers, is what we need most in suffering. And eventually, that is exactly what Job gets. Ecclesiastes reveals that understanding how the universe works helps us have a good life, but it's not ultimate. The author of Ecclesiastes rejects the trite use of wisdom which turns life into a composition of simplistic formulas. Like Job, Ecclesiastes shows that God has a plan, but life is complex and doesn't always work out the way we think. In fact, we all die. So this book calls us to make the most of the present and live for God while we have life. Finally, Song of Solomon. This short book is a book of romantic wisdom. It shows us the wisdom, beauty, and delight of a husband and wife who are madly in love and are totally attracted to each other. As we look across the entire biblical story, we remember that Jesus is the truly wise Israelite. When he said, something greater than Solomon is here, he meant that he is the one fulfilling the entire wisdom tradition of Israel. As Colossians says, all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge are hidden in him. He is a treasure that's worthy of a lifetime of exploration. That's all for now. We'll see you next time on Whiteboard Theology.